Goyard has always felt like a secret whispered into the right ear. For generations, the Maison traded in an economy of scarcity. Fewer than 40 boutiques, prices rarely broadcast, an in-person ritual of selection and personalization. That scarcity was not an accident, it was the strategy. It turned ownership into initiation and made each bag feel like a private reward. So when that house quietly opens a measured door to online sales, it is not a surrender, it is a carefully negotiated recalibration. This is not the end of exclusivity, it is a subtle restitching of how exclusivity is delivered. What changed precisely matters. The online selection is tiny by luxury standards, a sliver of the house's full vocabulary. The pieces offered are mostly the canvas classics, the St. Louis family and other Goyardine staples, and crucially many of them arrive only with personalization, initials, stripes, an unmistakable signature that ties an object to a single body and a single life. Personalization is the logic here. By asking the buyer to mark the object with themselves, Goyard makes the item far less fungible on the open market. A striped tote with your initials is not an easy resell. It is an intimate object reclaimed. That keeps resale channels from hollowing out the brand's value, and it preserves the very thing customers buy Goyard for, a personal relationship with a house that demands attention. There are 3 quiet, intelligent reasons why this move will not dilute Goyard's myth. First, limited choice. Publishing a curated set of perhaps 40 items online is not an attempt to democratize everything. It is a pragmatic concession. Give the market what it can absorb without sacrificing the rituals that make the house rare. Think of it as a carefully trimmed aperture, enough to allow light in, not enough to flood the room. Second, personalization as currency. By centering personalization, the Maison shifts the conversation from buy and flip to own and belong. If the online items require time, initials, and a small ritual of custom arrangement, the buyer enters into a micro-relationship with the maker rather than with the marketplace. The resale arbitrage, which has long threatened exclusivity, is thereby muted. Personalization protects perception. Third, operational reasoning. The high footfall for entry-level, everyday favorites creates pressure for sales associates and boutique logistics. Moving certain standardized, entry-level personalization orders online is a humane solution. It frees store staff to steward clients who want the rare, seasonal, or limited edition pieces that still demand in-person attention. It is a service decision as much as a marketing one. This choice also tells us something about modern luxury's temperament. The Maisons that last understand that exclusivity is a living thing. It must be tended, not petrified. Goyard's decision to offer a sliver of its catalogue online and to code it with personalization is an act of stewardship. It allows the house to respond to real customer needs. Some people cannot travel to the boutiques, while still protecting the structural scarcity that has made Goyard desirable in the first place. Now, let's be clear. Opening even a small online door invites complications. There is the risk of increased transparency about pricing, the ripple effect on resale valuations, and the quiet pressure for more e-commerce later. There is also a cultural question. What does it mean when a Maison that built its value on pilgrimage now offers a convenience? The honest answer is, context matters. If the house keeps its in-store theatricality for limited items, keeps production and limited runs close to the chest, and uses online as a carefully controlled channel for entry-level personalization, then the fundamental aura of the brand remains intact. From a consumer psychology standpoint, this is smart. Goyard recognizes the modern buyer's 2 contradictory impulses: the desire for unobtainable beauty and the need for simpler access. People want provenance and story, but they also want ease. Personalization satisfies both. It tells the buyer, you can access the house, but you must bring yourself to the transaction. That is a compact that keeps the Maison's myths alive. There is also an economic logic. Luxury's scarcity model depends on signaling, not just price, but procedure. When you must travel, wait, speak to a sales associate, and go through a ritual, you are participating in conversation that creates meaning. When an online channel can reproduce that meaning through personalization, limited availability, and curated selection, it becomes a complementary rather than cannibalistic channel. In short, accessibility, when properly framed, can be a tool to reinforce, not remove desirability. We should also look at what this move does for the wider industry. Goyard's cautious online step is a middle way that other heritage houses may study carefully. It acknowledges the realities of a global clientele that cannot all be present in Paris, Tokyo, or New York, while refusing the laissez-faire e-commerce model that flattens value. If brands want to keep their mystique, they must learn to modularize their access points, offering entry rituals digitally while keeping the rarest gestures analog and intimate. Finally, let's speak to the buyer. If you love Goyard, this change should be read as an invitation and a test. The invitation is simple. The house is willing to meet you halfway. The test is equally simple. Will you continue to honor what made the Maison special? Will you mark your object not merely as a status sign, but as a piece of your life? The relationship between brand and owner is not transactional, it is ethical and aesthetic. This is a careful transformation. It is not a capitulation to convenience or commerce. It is a pragmatic, stylistically coherent adjustment to a new geography of luxury. Goyard has allowed us a sliver of light into its inner chamber, but the chamber itself remains private, curated, and for the time being, very much intact. If there is a moral here for collectors and for the industry, it is this. Exclusivity is not merely scarcity. It is a promise about meaning. And meaning, like craft, must be actively maintained. Goyard's small online step is less about surrender and more about survival, a way to stay relevant in a changing world while still holding on to the house's essential soul. Stay curious, stay exacting, and remember why we love these houses in the first place. For the way they taught us to choose slowly, not to consume quickly. What Goyard is doing here isn't just a business move, it's a quiet reflection of how luxury itself is evolving in 2025. The definition of exclusivity is no longer about total inaccessibility, it's about how access is controlled. It's psychological. Modern luxury clients crave intimacy, recognition, and belonging, not necessarily distance. Goyard is rewriting that balance. For years, the most powerful brands have relied on mystery to build value. Hermès never rushes, Chanel rarely explains. Goyard, however, has built its reputation on something even rarer, silence. The brand has never advertised. It has never sought visibility. It existed in quiet defiance of the digital age, which made this new online step so fascinating. Because for Goyard, any move toward visibility is a cultural shift. The psychology behind this decision also speaks to something deeper, control. By launching a limited online offering, Goyard takes back the narrative from resellers, counterfeiters, and speculative buyers who have long used its scarcity to inflate secondary prices. Instead of letting third parties dictate how and where their products circulate, the house is drawing the line. You can buy from us directly, but only under our conditions. That's an act of discipline disguised as accessibility. And it's incredibly strategic. In a world where brands risk overexposure through mass e-commerce, Goyard is proving that digital presence doesn't have to mean dilution. It can mean precision. The key is curation. There's also a cultural truth here. Luxury consumers are no longer one-dimensional. Many of today's collectors live online. They share, archive, analyze, and study brands like historians. Goyard knows that some of its most passionate clients discovered the brand not through boutiques, but through research, resale markets, or social media. Giving this audience a small window to buy directly from the house creates an emotional connection that previously wasn't possible, without undermining the pilgrimage experience for traditional clients. But perhaps the most telling part of this change lies in what didn't move online. The pieces that define true Goyard status, the Saigon bags, the vanity trunks, the miniature dog carriers, the hand-painted travel sets, remain available only through boutiques. That's not an accident. Those items are conversation pieces, status markers, and heritage symbols. Keeping them in store preserves their ritualistic quality. You can't simply click to buy what was designed to be experienced. It's a reminder that in the luxury world, not everything should be easy. Ease kills aspiration. The allure of Goyard has always been tied to its difficulty. You had to work for it, understand it, and earn it. This online move doesn't erase that. It refines it for the next generation. Now, let's talk about what this means for the future of fashion. As more heritage houses face mounting pressure to modernize, the The question isn't whether to go digital, but how to do it without collapsing the hierarchy that gives these brands their magic. Goyard's move could become a blueprint, offering micro-access without mass availability. It's a concept we might soon see adapted by others who've resisted the e-commerce wave. Perhaps Hermès experimenting with limited digital access, or Moynat refining its custom order system online. This is also about sustainability and operational intelligence. By offloading basic, personalized orders to an online platform, Goyard reduces unnecessary travel and boutique congestion. It allows the in-store experience to return to what it was always meant to be, a moment of storytelling, education, and connection, not transaction. The quiet luxury movement reminded us that true wealth doesn't shout. Goyard is now reminding the industry that true luxury doesn't rush. And beyond business, there's something beautifully philosophical about this. Exclusivity isn't a wall, it's a language. You can translate it into digital form if you're fluent enough in your own identity. That's what Goyard has just proven. This subtle step tells us that the future of luxury isn't about opening doors for everyone. It's about choosing which door opens, how far, and for whom. That is the art of restraint, and that's the foundation of timeless luxury.